censorship. What we're seeing is the twilight of the freedom of speech. Suppose that in the wake of 9/11, you told people that this grim reality lay ahead. They would have been astounded, indignant even. Some might have dismissed it as far-fetched. After all, our military strength is unmatched in all of world history. And yet, far from defeated, Islamic totalitarianism is on the march. No one would have predicted the situation we face today. We at the Ayn Rand Institute predicted it. We warned against precisely that kind of disaster. We pinpointed the fundamental problem subverting American foreign policy. We championed an uncompromising solution. In the aftermath of 9/11, ARI placed full-page ads in the Washington Post and the New York Times, explaining the attack and presenting an incisive warning. "The greatest obstacle to U.S. victory," wrote ARI's founder Leonard Peikoff, "is not our enemies but our own intellectuals." They advocated the same ideas that had encouraged the enemies. 50 years of increasing American appeasement in the Mideast have led to 50 years of increasing contempt in the Muslim world for the U.S., wrote Peikoff. The irrational ideas shaping American foreign policy had led to 9/11, and every indication pointed to one conclusion. Those dominant ideas, unless rejected, would subvert the U.S. military response and our national security. America is a military superpower, but it lacks the self-confidence and moral certainty needed to understand and fight for its own self-defense. Tragically, our analysis, articulated in countless ARI op-eds, essays, media interviews, talks, has proved correct. We argued that properly conceptualizing the enemy, identifying its character, its goals, is necessary in order to defeat it. Our enemy is defined not primarily by their use of terrorist means, but by their ideological ends. They fight to create a society dominated by Islamic religious law. We call the movement Islamic Totalitarianism, a cause long inspired and funded by patrons such as Saudi Arabia, the Gulf states, and, above all, Iran. Yet the last two administrations not only failed to define the enemy, but evaded this responsibility. Witness the destructive consequences all around you. Over time, the necessity of understanding the enemy has only grown more urgent. We argued that a proper war is fought in self-defense to safeguard the individual rights of Americans. We argued that such a war must seek to eliminate the objective threats to our lives, using all necessary force. Yet Bush's supposedly muscular policy was in fact animated by compassion and the allegedly moral idea of selfless service to the needy. That's true of the overarching goal of Bush's crusade for democracy, giving the needy and oppressed of the Middle East the vote, and of its implementation on the ground. Far from unleashing a shock and awe campaign, Washington engaged in nation-building and subjected our soldiers to absurd, self-sacrificial battlefield constraints. Those same constraints on our soldiers, stemming from the doctrines of just war theory and embodied in international norms of war, persist under Obama's administration. We identified the predictable consequences of the ideas shaping America's foreign policy. Our forward-looking assessments were proven correct. The democracy crusade, we argued, would empower jihadists across the Middle East. It did. See Iraq, Afghanistan, Lebanon, Egypt, the Palestinian territories. On the battlefield, the self-effacing rules of engagement, we argued, would encourage the Iraq insurgency and the remnants of the Taliban. They did. We argued that the widely celebrated surge in Iraq, deploying thousands more U.S. soldiers to quell the insurgency through bribes and appeasing gestures, could only paper over, not end, the fundamental enmities, and that more violence would return. It did. Allowing insurgents to go undefeated, we warned, would enable the most vicious, effective killers to survive and reemerge. They did. One such insurgent group became the core of Islamic State. The policy of appeasement, we argued, would only empower such enemies as Hamas and Hezbollah. It did. Witness the Islamist Israeli wars in 2006, 2008 and 9, 2012, 2014. We argued that the prevailing response to the Danish cartoons crisis was pathetic. The West's inability to uphold so vital a right as the freedom of speech, we warned, would further inspire the jihadists. It did. Recall Charlie Hebdo.